Stuxnet, the first cyber weapon. You have probably heard of a hacker attack. A hacker attack is an intentional and malicious attempt to invade, access, alter, or destroy computer systems, networks, or data without authorization. Most of the time, these attacks happen over the internet. But what if I told you that one of the most important cyber attacks in history happened without an internet connection? What if I told you that the attacker didn't even need to be inside the building? And more than that, that this attack managed to disrupt a process essential to the production of nuclear weapons in a well-known Middle Eastern country? A different kind of attack. From the first computer virus in history to today's AI-powered military drones, cyber warfare has evolved rapidly. But one operation stands apart. An attack so simple and at the same time so technically sophisticated that it completely changed how the world understands digital warfare. This is the story of Stuxnet, the first true cyber weapon in history. What was Stuxnet? Stuxnet was a special type of malware known as a worm. A self-propagating malicious program capable of spreading automatically, without any user interaction. Its target was not a bank, not a government website, not a data center. Its target was a uranium enrichment facility in Iran. When malware became a weapon. For many years, malware was little more than an inconvenience. Programs that hid files, slowed computers, or caused minor damage. But those days are long gone. Malware has become a weapon, a real weapon of war, capable of causing massive damage without firing a single missile and without causing a single casualty for the attacking country. What is malware? Before we go any further, it's important to understand what malware actually is. Malware is any computer program designed to behave maliciously. In other words, a program created to harm a system by stealing, altering, or destroying data, systems, or even physical equipment. And Stuxnet was exactly that. Inside the Iranian facility. Once Stuxnet entered the uranium enrichment facility, it began to exploit vulnerabilities in the industrial equipment used in the enrichment process. Because it was a worm, it spread on its own silently throughout the entire centrifuge network. No clicks, no warnings, no human interaction. But its real brilliance was in how it avoided detection. At first, Stuxnet only monitored the centrifuges during normal operation. It quietly learned how the system behaved. Then, at carefully chosen moments, it altered the rotation speed of the centrifuges, pushing them beyond safe limits. At the same time, it sent fake telemetry data to the monitoring systems. Data recorded during normal operation. Perfectly normal, perfectly believable. To the engineers in the control room, everything looked fine, while the machines were slowly destroying themselves. The result? Iran's nuclear program was set back by several years. Who was behind it? So the question becomes unavoidable. Who created Stuxnet? According to several experts, this was not the work of a lone hacker. The attackers clearly had deep knowledge of Siemens industrial controllers and of the specific way Iran had designed its enrichment facilities. An investigation by journalists William J. Broad, John Markoff, and David E. Sanger, published by the New York Times, revealed that the operation was carried out by the United States and Israel, with possible direct or indirect support from the United Kingdom and Germany. According to the report, in 2009, near the end of his presidency, George W. Bush authorized a secret operation to sabotage the computer and electrical systems of Natanz, Iran's main uranium enrichment site. The Siemens connection. One detail raised even more questions. Siemens, the German company that manufactured the industrial controllers used in the facility, had cooperated with the U.S. government in 2008 to analyze security vulnerabilities in its products. Officially, this cooperation was part of routine security improvements, but it also gave U.S. authorities an opportunity to identify flaws, the same flaws that were exploited by Stuxnet the following year. The number 984. A German cybersecurity firm later analyzed Stuxnet's code. They discovered something extraordinary. The malware activated only when it detected a very specific configuration of controllers, a configuration that exists only in uranium centrifuge facilities, and embedded inside the code was a precise number, 984 machines. Shortly after, when international inspectors visited Natanz in late 2009, they discovered that Iran had removed from service exactly 984 centrifuges, the same number. Tested before the attack. To ensure the success of the operation, the attackers needed to test the worm. According to reports, Israel and the United States conducted simulations in an environment similar to the real Iranian facility, at the Dimona complex, in the Negev desert. Dimona is believed to be the heavily guarded heart of Israel's undeclared nuclear weapons program, as one U.S. nuclear intelligence specialist stated. To test the worm, you have to know the machines. The reason the worm was effective is because the Israelis tested it. But how do you attack a network with no internet? Now comes the most surprising part of the story. How do you hack a facility that is completely disconnected from the internet? Imagine this. You are a secret agent. Your mission is to shut down a uranium enrichment plant, a facility that produces material that could be used to build nuclear weapons. The plant has no internet access. Security is extremely tight, and entering the facility is almost impossible. So how do you get inside? The answer is shockingly simple. You use the human factor. Curiosity. Social engineering. This technique is known as social engineering. Instead of attacking machines, you attack people. You exploit human behavior, curiosity, fear, trust. You have probably seen this before. The famous email from a so-called Nigerian prince, a message promising a future reward, or a phone call from someone pretending to be an executive, asking you to approve a payment or share confidential information. These are social engineering attacks. And in the case of Stuxnet, the method was even simpler. The USB drive. A USB flash drive containing Stuxnet was deliberately left near the facility. That's all. Someone found it. Out of curiosity, they plugged it into a computer inside the plant, and that was enough. From that single machine, the worm spread through the internal network and began its silent sabotage of the centrifuges. It sounds like something from a movie, but it happened. And the story of Stuxnet doesn't end in Iran. Years before the worm was discovered, Washington was already deeply concerned about the vulnerability of the millions of computers that operate critical infrastructure in the United States, from financial systems to transportation to the national power grid. And the reason for that concern was simple. The United States was using the very same industrial controllers, the same technologies, the same type of systems. Because Stuxnet was not just a weapon aimed at Iran, it was a warning to the entire world, a message that a new kind of war had already begun.